All right, hey guys. My name is Katie Sullivan, and I teach in a small town in South Carolina. It's one of the most historic towns in South Carolina, so that's what makes it very unique. And it's Camden, South Carolina. It's slightly north west of Columbia, South Carolina. It's a Title I school, and I'm an early childhood education major. This is my third year teaching at the school and teaching first grade. Prior to this, I've taught at a STEM Lego Learning Center, which was really fun. I taught 3K for a couple years, second grade, and kindergarten. So at the end of this year, this will be my sixth year in a formal classroom setting. The area that I chose to highlight was content area number 7, which regards our ability to address the professional skills and knowledge within our area. And I wanted to highlight this area because throughout this program, there have been many strategies and practices that I've picked up and I've used routinely in my classroom, and they've really impacted how my students perform and also just our general happiness in the classroom. So I just kind of wanted to walk you through this aspect of my profile. And so my profile looks like this. I'm in the professionalism tab. And one of the things that I wanted to do with my profile is kind of make it unique, and that's why I incorporated these blogs. I wanted to not only be able to reflect on what I've done, I wanted to also provide you with just a snippet of the project that we had to do and how it has impacted me. So this section of my profile actually has many different blogs as well as videos showing you how I have used the SRSD method in my classroom in writing. The knowledge, skills, and disposition blog starts off with a quote, and that quote is from Nell Noddings, and it states, "Educate to encourage careful thinking, critical examination of information, a commitment to examine all sides, and to allow time for genuine interest, perhaps even enthusiasm to develop. We must have time to push back the boundaries of the disciplines." And the most impactful part of that quote to me was the line stating that we need to allow time for genuine interest, perhaps even enthusiasm to develop. Excuse me. This quote has really guided my learning throughout this program and has also taken a very influential part in my teaching. I want my students to be interested in what they're learning, and I want them to be enthusiastic in order to motivate them to learn more. One way that I do this in reading is I allow them to select their own books. We use Fontes and Pinnell at my school, which is similar to the QRI inventory. It assesses a child's ability to read fiction and nonfiction texts, and using the Fontes and Pinnell, I can identify their instructional level and their independent level. So their independent level is what I allow them to choose books with. And I found that allowing them to choose their own books not only lets me know what they're interested in, but it motivates them and encourages them to learn more about the topics that they're interested in. Allowing them to choose their own books kind of hones in on that genuine interest and enthusiasm in teaching. But I can also pick different comprehension strategies using any book that they're interested in and kind of target certain skills with different kids. And this is kind of aligns with the Daily 5 approach, and Jan Richardson has a lot of these different strategies as well. But I've learned a lot of different strategies throughout this course as well. And if you go to my skills and knowledge blog, it kind of highlights some of these strategies I've learned. We talked about character traits, and we talked about reading aloud to students and planning think aloud so that students can learn how you are thinking about a text, and you can also do that with writing, which I'll talk about in a second. But I have students retell stories, I have them use props, they can dress, speak, act like the characters. I provide pictures for my ESOL kids and have them act out verbs and different nouns that they might not know. Narrative text strategies are also a routine practice in my room. I mean, I ask my students, I use so many of these different aspects or strategies. They're really, really helpful. Describe a character using 5 words. Yep. let's see, the other one was the Poetry Cafe. Now this is one area that I kind of struggled with when I started teaching first grade. I'm not a poet. I'm not good at writing poetry. So this article, the Poetry Cafe is Open, Teaching Literary Devices of Sound and Poetry Writing by Beth Kovacic and Janine Serto, really helped me understand how to break poetry up into little different mini lessons and help students understand color and rhyme, repetition and alliteration, onomatopoeia, and collaborative poetry. So I put together a little lesson plan using the Green Giant. And through this blog and then also my artifact, I detail how I went about this activity. I really enjoyed this one because my students love writing poems, they love rhyming words, and it also helped them pick out the adjectives in the poem. So there's a bunch of different skills that we highlighted on that. The Think SRSD strategy is one of the most influential strategies that I picked up throughout this program. And I just wanted to highlight it with you guys. There's a lot there. But basically what we want as educators is for students to share and help each other and make choices about what they're going to read and write, and then finally take ownership of their writing. And by having them take ownership of their writing, they are taking not only ownership of their final product, but their process as well. So I kind of wanted to just briefly discuss to you how I've used this recently with writing, and you'll see on my page that I have videos of how my students are working collaboratively to edit and revise their paper. I have one student who's modeling how to read fluently, but he's also taking ownership of the story that he wrote. And then this is just another process of one of my students who had finished editing her writing, and then she's writing it on her final draft. The SRSD strategy I can use with any subject. Basically, you want to develop the background knowledge. So what do you want students, or what do students already know? And you kind of want a plan that guides you to what you want the students to know. You discuss the strategy. So in writing, I talk to them about, different mechanics of writing and what I want to see when they are writing periods, capital letters, complete thoughts. And then I pull out different strategies. I use Jennifer Saravallo. She has a reading strategies book and a writing strategies book, and it has been a godsend. It's been very helpful. But I teach them a strategy and how I would use it. I show them what to do using graphic organizers. We do it together. That's the model it and memorize it. I have them work with partners together to sharpen their skills on this certain strategy. And then what I want to see is their independent use of this. So if I am teaching them a nonfiction graphic organizer, I might show them how to do it first, do it together, have them do it in small groups, but then eventually I expect them to do it on their own. And I'm hoping that throughout this SRSD process that they will be able to do it on their own. And of course, teaching is always a modify and adjust. You constantly progress monitor those students, and if you see that they're not grasping something, then you go back and sharpen up the areas that they might need help with. So that is the area that I wanted to discuss with you. I hope that my ePortfolio has given you not only a brief overview of the projects that we've had to do, but also kind of given you ideas of how to incorporate some of these strategies into your own room. And I would love to share strategies with people. I'm always reading blogs and online and Facebook, and there are so many ideas out there that it's sometimes overwhelming, but it's great. I love it. I've learned a lot throughout this course, and I hope that just from me explaining to you what I've used in my classroom might help you think of something new that you can try in your room.